Okay, so uh, programming. Who knew? I better save that before my computer accidentally shuts off. I so the program was running pretty well. I've mentioned that before. The original program had a randomness to it, or you would swipe your hand, and well, the original one had a push button. But COVID happened, and I said, let's get rid of push buttons. So you swipe your hand, non-touching, and then it would do something. And if you didn't touch it within 5 or 10 minutes, it just go by itself, like it's alive. For me, the issue became it just would run too much then, and it would generate plastic dust and friction and bog down until gears break. So I tried to eliminate, because it would run for 30 seconds. I got it down to 10 seconds now, or before. And so the issue is 10 seconds, right? And so I wanted a way for a user interface, and the interface, basically the entire interface is a light sensor. I didn't want to add anything else to it. I didn't want to add buttons or other variables. So the interface has to be the only way of running this thing to do what I wanted it to do. And what I wanted it to do is do what it normally does, which is where you go like that, and it runs for 10 seconds. Close enough. And then stop. Or if you run your hand through it, and run through it again, it'll stop. That's what I wanted. That's what I had before. And then every time you run your hand through it, it spins one way, and you stop it, and you do it the other way, and it goes the other way. That's the exact program that was in there before. That's the exact, not the program itself. That's the exact what functionality that it had before in the old program. But then if you're trying to take a video of it, say when the lights are out, and it stops after 10 seconds, that gets right? And then you have to start it again. I have to fix that, by the way. Somehow the sensor doesn't seem to pick up. And then it would stop, and you have to go the other way. So what I wanted it to do, so if you hold your hand, okay, we'll stop it. If you hold your hand over it, it'll just keep going until, we'll go 5 seconds, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're already past the timing of it, right? And so you can just hold your hand there, and it'll just keep on spinning until you take your hand away. But wait, now it's going to go for another 10 seconds. My mojo's off. So that's what I wanted, and that's what I've been working on. What I found to be complicated was that the entire program had to be revamped basically from scratch. So I could not use the original program that would just run 10 seconds or stop if you swiped your hand before the 10 seconds is up. I had to use, quote unquote, the skeleton of that program, but basically rewrite every line of code. The other thing I had to do, which disappointed me, is that I was using the light variable because I expect to be underneath different light conditions. I expect to be in light conditions that whatever. But what I noticed is that no matter what lights are on and what lights are off, the light sensor gives off the same readings. And I mentioned this before, since there's a light here shining straight into the light sensor. So there's the light here, you can see right there. It's light shining into the light sensor. That all the ambient light, no matter how bright or how dark, does not really come into play for the light sensor. Because again, I put that 1x2 Technic brick in front of it, so there's no ambient light getting down through that Technic light. So the light that the sensor's getting is the light from the here. So it doesn't matter about ambient light. So no matter how dark or how light the room is, the light sensor's going to read the same values because it's shining right from the one light source. So I actually had to hard code that number, which was kind of disappointing because, but it's the only way it was going to work. I could not seem to get the variables to work by pulling the light sensor and using that as the value, whether it goes higher or lower, depends on what you cross or not. So I had to hard code that number, and I might be able to try to go back to the variableness, or just pulling the light sensor and using that as the variable of whether it goes up 100 or down 100, depending on, because right now it's at 406. The value is 406, and I put my hand over it as 526. So I gotta fix that because it actually took 2 times to register, and I don't like that. So it's going to need some tweaking, but overall, it runs. And the kids always do this, right? So, because it says wave your hands. So I think the program can be made better, more robust, and get rid of the quick. So to do that, but I'm gonna go through the lines of code again to see if I can, just because nothing happened, and now it did. The first time, that bothers me because the program should work 100% of the time, all the time, like that. Yeah. No, I did have a variable in there, so you just can't go back and forth. There's a second, so you can't just mash the button and expect it to work. So you have to go slowly and slowly. And 3 works, 4 stopped, goes, stops, goes, stops, goes. See how fast I can get. See, it skipped out that time. So overall, you can see it working. And again, for the lights out, and people want it to run, just hold your hand over it, and it'll just keep on running. So you can take your videos. Value-added service. and because I was thinking, just push a button, hold the button, and it'll just go. I said, I like the touchless thing now, so I try to make the touchless thing work. Because if it was just a push button, that's literally the easiest program on the planet. Some lights back through. So that's what I was working on all night, and it was tough. I'm telling you, it's been a while since I did programming of the RCX in the first place. But the variable of the light sensor and the timing and the ability to not, so you want it to go, but also when you swipe your hand that it goes off. So I had to work all those things into it. And so the program is actually, it's smaller than the original program that I started with because I got rid of a lot of stuff. And then there we go. So yeah, it should work. Like every time you drag your hand across it, it should do something, and it's not. There's sometimes so I have to work on that. There's something not quite right. It's not because the display shows it immediately. So the display realizes that I think it's my timing. I have too many weights in there, and it's pulling. The weight command is in the way when I'm driving my hand across it. So I have to look at that. Probably try working out getting rid of all the weight commands and just except for I don't want people mashing it, like mashing the button, mashing the light sensor, because you can see nothing happens. Slow. So the RCX is fast enough to pick that up. I'm looking at it now. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So it sees it, but it's not getting to the program that it sees it. The actual sensor sees it, going between 406 and there's 5. Oh, it stopped that time. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So if I'm going this fast, it picked up every other one. If I go slow enough, then it's fine. But people just want to be able to wave, right? They just want to wave like that, right? And notice how that's not doing anything. So I'm going to work on that. I'm not sure where that would be. See, I have basically 2 main sections of code. The hand wave, which is continuously running, a while true statement at the beginning. So the hand sensing is running all the time. So I got set sensor to light, set to raw, because I like raw values better than Boolean or anything else. Raw, you got from 0 to 1024. So you got a wider range of numbers. So I always use raw for my sensors, except for the rotation sensor. If hand sem equals 0, so it means that you haven't waved it yet. And sensor 2 is greater than the light value, I had to hard code the light value, because basically what happened before is that right before the if statement, I would pull the light sensor, get that value, wait 5 milliseconds, and then if the light sensor plus whatever a light differential, shall we say, is greater than the light sensor now, like far greater than the light sensor now, then hand wave equals 1. Because right now it's like fluctuating between 406 and 405. It is flashing between those two numbers because, you know, ambient light, whatever. And so my differential is 50. So if you wave your hand, so right now it's 406, and you put your hand in front of it, it's 527. See, nothing happened. So something wrong with the program. Right now it's on 520, and now it worked in. So something's wrong with the program. Anyway, so from 406 to 526, that's the low and high of this thing. And so I would pull the light sensor, get the 406, or the 406, yeah, put it in memory, and if you pulls it again 5 milliseconds later and it's over 50, higher than that, then you waved your hand, because now it's 500, right? So it could have been 450, but whatever, it's over 500. So that says the hand has been waved. It's set the hand SEM to 1. The hand has been waved. Now what you do with that 1 afterwards is where all the rest of the programming comes in. And then if you wave your hand again, or if you hold your hand here, it stays on 500, then it'll just keep on running, right? Because when you wave your hand, it goes 4 or 5 back down to 4 when your hand's not on it anymore. So you have to account for all that stuff. And I didn't want to put a whole bunch of semaphores in there. I didn't want to put a whole bunch of semaphores. I basically have 2 semaphores, a hand wave and the running. So, and that's running. So that's running is 1 right now, and running is 0 right now. Hand wave is 1 when I wave it, and 0 when it's not, like when it goes back down to 400. So I wait for the next wave. So I tried to make the code as clean as possible, and all the rest of the program I got running art. If hand SEM equals 1, so you wave your hand SEM then is 1, and then it says if the direction SEM or the art SEM equals 0 or 2, this is stupid, then the art is off. So this is, come on, so this is 0 or 2 right now. Stop, art off, turn that off. If the direction SEM is 1, it's going to go in 1 direction. If it's 3, because I just add it every time. Every time you do that to start it again, it adds 1. Every time the hand SEM becomes is 1, it adds 1 more to the direction. So 0 is off, 1 is left, 2 is off, and 3 is right. That's it. And then over 3, it sets it back to 0. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0, this is 0 now. Okay, that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And it's back to 0. So that's what I did, and so I could have probably made a better program that would take. But what I did before is there was 1 for 0, 1 for 1, 1 for 2, 1 for 3. Then I realized that 0 and 2 are identical. so that's an and, or that's an or. If the direction SEM is 0 or 2, stop it. Just stop it from circling. And when it's here, when it's doing the 10 seconds, so that's running now. And I do that, it just turns it off again. So this is 1, it'll run 10 seconds and then go back to 0, right? Or I do that and it shuts it off. Because I like that. I don't want it to run for 10 seconds without, you know, people are waiting now for 10 seconds. No, I want people to react with this thing almost quote unquote instantaneously every time you wave your hand. Although as you can see, sometimes it doesn't work. I have to fix that because it worked on the old program. It was flawless in the old program, but I have more variability in this one. So I'm gonna go put some more effort into it. Probably not tonight because it's late. But in the end, by the way, RCX. Yeah, I'm old school. I played with the NXT for a minute. I was actually making video games right on the screen where you press the buttons and move and shoot and stuff. That was fun. I did not build hardly any robots with the NXT. I'm not a studless Technic builder connoisseur, shall we say. I did like the Technic sets that had a combination of studless and studded Technic bricks, such as the 8448 Supercar, one of my favorite sets I've ever built. I loved that car, and I RC'd that car. It was a great time. But I am not a good studless builder. I'm a pretty good old school Technic builder. Not great, but you know, I did win some robot competitions back in the day. So, but I'm a hack. And so me building this with an NXT, I don't know if it would have been any better. I highly doubt it, because this is all brick built basically. This is like, this whole thing is just fancy looking bricks, and this thing on top of here. I am missing something. Let's see if I can find it really quick. I think it is missing. I'll find it later. It's my oh, look at that. I don't know where that went. Oh, there it is right there. There we go. So, see, that bothers me. That really does bother me. And I have to hold it there. So I think, yeah, there's a timing in there, and it's like pulling the hand wave. But there's not too many. It says weight 10. That's just so people can't spam it. Anyways, we just had the 5. I don't know. The biggest. Let me just close that for a second and get this thing. The biggest, sincerely, the biggest, because I'm not gonna. I can sing the praises of the RCX all day long, and trust me, I have. I'm a huge fan of the RCX. The biggest and possibly the only debilitating factor of the RCX is right here, the IR remote. It's just a huge, literally a huge pain in the butt. It was back then, and still is now. But there is no better way, or any other way of getting the program from the computer onto the RCX besides the IR tower. So I do remember back in the day that the 9-volt tower, serial cable tower, worked a lot better than the USB IR tower. But the USB IR tower doesn't require batteries, and none of my laptops these days have a serial port, even though I have a USB to serial port adapter. Doesn't matter. I have so many of these, and I just point it. And what I found is that I shake it around a little bit, keeping the eye pointed at the IR input of the RCX. But if I move it around like this, the line of dots goes a lot faster, and doesn't time out nearly as much. But that's just a pain to do. so that is the one major, absolutely major deficiency of the RCX that didn't have that problem with the NXT or the EV3 or the Boost, or like literally any other Mindstorms and or robotic thing that came out after the RCX. But the RCX, for me, as you can see, and I'm shocked I don't have any more on my desk. The RCX, you can build into brick-built things a lot easier than any of the other ones. The other ones are studless, and they are odd numbers instead of even numbers. The RCX is exactly 8 studs wide and 12 studs long, and it's fantastic. And you can build it right into any of your brick-built builds, which I've done numerous times. so I will always be a fan of the RCX. I have enough to keep me happy for the rest of my life, and I'll keep on doing little cutesy little things like this, and just keep on running with it. So, in the end, I'm gonna fix that. In the end, this is functioning well enough for show. For a show, I did. Let me show you this. Put that off. I rebuilt this entire thing. Literally, you can't tell. I rebuilt this entire thing to make it stronger, faster, better, like the 6-minute element. Excuse me. And that's just because it was kind of thrown together the first time. The motor is not going to pop off now. It's got the nice little connectors here, so it cannot pop off anyhow. There's a lot more studs to hold it in there. The bottoms, you can see the little gears in the middle. The bottom's more reinforced, so the display stand is better. And so what I also wanted to do, and I can't believe I didn't do this the first time, is the standard brick plate brick for Technic. I had brick and then 3 plates, or 1 brick. I had brick, and that doesn't work vertically. So I rebuilt the whole thing, so it's actually 1 plate shorter now because it's brick, plate, brick. And I can reinforce vertically. Not that I'm going to right now, but I could right here reinforce vertically. I just not gonna bother. So this is nice, and I'm a little more confident in the portability of this, because this thing would always break inside the box, but now it's actually more reinforced, so it should stay together more. Fingers crossed. I always like that. I will say, and you can see, so the big turntable is running at 1/3 the speed as the little connector there. So that means that the base of this big base here spins in the opposite direction. Well, half these spin in the opposite direction. But these things do spin 3 times faster. Makes it look cooler. So anywho, I think that's about it for now. If I do get around to getting the program fixed, I may, I gotta find that goop. I gotta find the goop, because this is just heartbreaking to see how hard it is to turn this thing. And I also have to, as I say, fix the program, which is one of those other things that I have to do. All these things that I have to do. I'm doing this one before the show, because the show obviously is basically a month away. What's the date today? A month of the week. Today's the 9th. So I got 34 days to get this thing done. And of course, I'm picking up the layout in 10 days. So I thought I'd work on this now while the layout's not here. I gotta fix that program. People, on a quick tangent, you can see right there, the white guy out of the sea of black guys. I added that white one just so people had an ability to see, because when they're all just one color, even with the trans neon green, again, I'm more colorblind than most people. That just seeing the white one as it just goes around, it's like an orbit, because you can just see it working its way slowly. So actually it's well more than 1 to 3. Let's just sit. Here's me. I'm gonna wait till this thing stops. Okay, so the white guy's there, and I'm gonna put so I'm gonna count. Then 11, 12. It's basically 16. These things turn 16 times for 1 revolution of the base. 16 times. I don't even know how I did that. Oh, because because I'm going from an 8 tooth to a 40 tooth here. Not even 40 tooth. I always forget the. I guess it is 40 tooth. I think the big turntable is 40 tooth. 40 teeth. So 8 to 40 is 5 times, and then so maybe it's 15, because this is 1 to 3, because these things spin, and I got a 3 times bigger crown gear than the 16 tooth, so it's probably 1 to 3 there times 5 is 15. So it's going to be 15 revolutions of these things with 1 revolution of the base. It's kind of interesting. Math, not my friend, as I've been finding out with Josh, helping him with his math summer school stuff. But anywho, that's it. That's all. I've wasted too much of your time. You guys all stay safe out there. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. And hope everybody out there is doing well.